Not a big surprise. The Supreme Court has once again proven that it is a complete waste of our time and energy. Does that mean that I am done paying attention to these court cases? And does that mean that I am no longer going to support organizations that continue to fight for our rights in the courts? No, absolutely not. I'm still going to continue to pay attention to these. I'm still going to support organizations like the Firearms Policy Coalition, Gun Owners of America, Second Amendment Foundation, CRPA, San Diego Gun Owners, all those good organizations that I enjoy helping in their continued fight to preserve our rights to keep and bear arms and maybe take something back. But it seems as if the Supreme Court has once again decided to not hear a Supreme Court case. This isn't necessarily surprising, seeing as the odds of how many court cases get presented to them versus how many they actually hear in a given year. But I was really hoping to see that maybe one of these court cases would be actually going through. For those of you that don't know, these 3 court cases that they denied were all about having nonviolent felons regain their rights to keep and bear arms, and the concept of should someone who committed a little bit of tax fraud be denied their rights to keep and bear arms. I don't know, that seems like pretty much the kind of offense that wouldn't make someone too dangerous to be out in public, right? But it seems like the Supreme Court has decided not to hear those. So in addition to just a simple matter of tax return fraud, one was a man who was involved in a DUI, which did not hurt anyone, and the other was a man who was charged with copyright violations for smuggling counterfeit cassette tapes in 1987. I'm going to have links to a news article as well as the Firearms Policy Coalition website talking about this. If I'm laughing, that's not because I don't think that they should have their rights to keep and bear arms. I think we all should. But doesn't it seem kind of ridiculous that some people can be barred from life for ever owning a firearm legally to protect themselves, even though they've done their time in jail or whatever it was that their sentence was, and are now free people in society? Now, because someone smuggled some counterfeit cassette tapes in the 80s, they can no longer protect themselves or their families with firearms. Many places would not allow them to have body armor. Some states won't allow them to have pepper spray or tasers or knives. I don't know. Does that seem right to you? This is just another example of how the Supreme Court is yet again not hearing cases. While you might be saying, fuck them, they're felons, that's really not the right mentality that you should have right now. You believe, I'm assuming if you're watching my videos on a frequent basis, you believe in the rights of the people to keep and bear arms, right? And you would think that you should be able to maybe manufacture an SBR even if it's not legal, or maybe your solvent trap had some holes dimpled in it. Does that mean that you should go to jail for 10 years? And does that mean that you should never be able to own a firearm? I don't think you would agree with that either if you're a frequent viewer of this channel. If you're the kind of person that thinks that the nanny state is doing too much and involving and controlling people's lives far too much, I would think that you would also think that someone who was, I don't know, maybe getting in trouble for smuggling copyrighted cassette tapes in the 80s should be able to protect themselves and their families. This is something that I think could have had a bigger impact on many more people. Any Second Amendment case heard by the Supreme Court could potentially lead to a massive win for the gun rights advocates like you and me. The reason being is anytime the Supreme Court makes a strong determination and says, hey, you can't do this, or the government cannot do this, the government cannot take away these rights, you should be able to do XYZ thing, that's a bonus, that's a positive. Even if you're not a felon, this potentially could have had big impacts on what the government can and cannot do to your life and how they can and cannot regulate what you do. And that's why I'm kind of disappointed that this court case wasn't heard. Many of you might have a family member who might be a felon because of some drug charge back in the 80s or 90s. Do you think that that makes them a bad person because they had a few ounces of pot? I don't think so. And it's especially crazy when you think about now how many states are legalizing certain actions which were previously illegal. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think that some felons should be able to get their rights back even if there isn't a good process? I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, just get it expunged. Well, the problem is in many states, even if you get a felony straight up expunged, you can't own a gun still. Some states and some charges can be first reduced to a misdemeanor and then expunged, and you might be able to get your gun rights back in certain situations like that. But many charges where someone gets a felony, even if they got that expunged, they would need a pardon from the governor or the president to actually get their gun rights back. And to me, that just seems a little bit ridiculous. Let me know what you guys think down below. You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace.